and maybe we'll get some actual coding done. Right, this person, talking to this person. How are we going to talk to this person? What are we going to do? Do we want to have it as part of the same screen, where we can go here and we can just click on this person and then click chat and it just appears here? Or do we want to have it on its own screen? My view is I want it on its own screen. I want to be able to click this person and then I want to be able to see maybe a picture of them and then have them say something here. Maybe picture, the amount of patience they've got for the conversation here, and then what they're saying here, and then maybe your choices. So picture here, maybe what they're saying goes somewhere like here, and then maybe maybe the chat log goes here, perhaps something like that. That could work, and then maybe what we could do is have the responses, all the things that you can say here. Yeah, that could work. Okay, right. So now I've got that sorted. I need to figure out actually how to build it. So we've got an empty left panel. We don't really want a scroll window. This is all about finding the particular premises we're in. I want that icon and face though. So where's the face? Left panel face. Right, so I do want this face. Yeah, I can just stick that right in there. I'm very happy to do that. But I need to know whose face I'm putting in there. That's easy to grab because I have the particular target, so that will immediately put their face in the right place, and it will also cause them to show the character when they click on it. Fine, that was easy. The next thing is putting the let's think about this a minute. Once I've got the face, what else do I need on the screen? I've got how patient they are, so that'll be some kind of patience icon, depending on how many they've got. So potentially I could show that. I'm just trying to think how. Just icons would do the trick. If I was to just do push box, what boxes do we have? And let's go with, what's the left panel start at? Center dim is 101,364, so it looks something like this. Plus 160, and that will be 0. I don't want a 104, I want it to be about 50. So if I was just to put this, maybe not 101, about 300. And then maybe if I just stuff a button on there for the moment, that'd be quite an interesting thing to see as to whether or not that's working. Let's see if that's working. Okay, so go through that. Cocoa Split is definitely coping better. Okay, don't know why it just had a bit of a wobbly. Right, let's find someone I can actually chat to. There she is. Oh, and this is in the wrong place. It's too far down. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why 364 plus 160. That doesn't make sense. Let's put it in 160. Also, that one doesn't look any good. Not sure about having that person there. And the other thing I want to do is when we reload the code, I want to lay out the chat window. And let's pretend I'm talking to myself, because it doesn't really matter who I'm talking to at the moment. Okay, so when I reload the code, it should have my name and it should have a picture of me. Okay, great. So that's obviously in the wrong place. Not the left panel face. I want the game. Push left panel face. Not that one, this one. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's over there. That seems a crazy place. I thought 360 was about right. Maybe not, let's see. Yeah, that's more like it. So it was actually 364. I'm not quite sure why it went so low down before. Anyway, I'm not convinced about this. That doesn't look right. Does not look right. I might need to have to go back to my artist and ask him what he thinks I should do about this, because I'm not happy with the way that looks. It just, no, I mean, obviously the button is, this box here is just wrong. Not interested in that. It's more how this guy looks on the screen with this background on it. It's not good. It's not working for me. We could just push, instead of just a left panel face, we could actually put the, interesting, we could actually just push this thing in. What we could do is go for char const. We put some strings in there, something like chatting to x, dummy 2. Pop that in there like that. And then hopefully, no, failed, messed it up. There we go. Oh, and then I've got to make sure I'm passing the strings. Yes, I am. That will actually just put a proper thing here, which may or may not be the right thing to do. Right, so we now got chatting to x. Yeah, again, it's not perfect. It just feels a bit contrived. If I was to go here and click on that, chatting to that person, I'm not feeling much inspiration here. I'm tempted to put something in here, but that means changing the state of this. Yeah, I'm just not loving this whole area for chat. It's not working for me. GUI code is really annoying because it's just fiddly. Fiddly. Where do I want to have the chat? Do I want to have it across the whole thing? Oops. Ah, well. That'll be a live code reload problem. Or do I want to have it just on that one side? I think I do want to have it on one side, but I'm thinking I may need to brainstorm that a little bit more as to how that looks. Basically, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe what I need to do is just think about it, think about how I want that to feel. Yeah. Okay, so what I want, I'll just load this for a minute. Let me just load up a little brainstorming board. I should do this on stream. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have, if I've got my chat here, got my window here, and I've got some kind of, there we go. I've got my header here, header and description, and this is my character over there. Basically, what I've got at the moment is I've got a list here, and when I click one, what I want it to appear, I want to kind of have if I'm going to have the whole thing, which I think I should, I'm going to want to have face, and I'm going to want to do something like I've got responses to put in. Oh, I was backing up. Maybe that was the problem. So possible responses must go down here. Things you can say. Log, we could potentially have a log. We've also got patience points, which will be small, can be quite small. So previously I've got it kind of a bit like this. I've got the face, I've got the patience points, I've got possible responses, I've got chat options, I've got responses, response from character. Okay, so that at the moment that kind of goes up here. The chat options, I don't have a log at all, and the chat options basically come down here. Oh, and the other thing we've got is tone, which I do need to have, so that's quite small. That's kind of how I have it right now in the old GUI. That kind of works. I like having the face next to the response. The tone option makes sense, and then the chat options also kind of make sense. The only issue is that I don't have GUI for that, but I can fix that problem. Potentially, I could also hijack the header for chatting to so and so, and then that could just say view instead of saying view city, because I also have a button here, don't I, which is view location. Or I could just call that back or stop or something. That goes up here. Oops, that was not what I intended to do. It doesn't really matter, but what I wanted to do was just move that over there. Okay, so I have a kind of stop chatting thing here. So I could move the header and description, so maybe that enterable header stuff I was doing before was complete waste of time. Maybe, I'm not sure. I've got the face. The face should be quite large. I can always put it inside a different icon. The response from a particular character goes there. Yeah, that kind of feels right. Then I've got tone options. Now the other option to doing this would be to choose something slightly different. No log. Don't think I'm going to do a log. So instead of doing that, what I could do is I could have the face. I could have this is much smaller. I could have the response and the patience here. I could have the response here. And then on this side, I could have tone option and chat option. And that's kind of the other option. Now I've got much more GUI stuff for this. That would be much easier to build. However, I think it's rubbish. It's a weird place to have the response. You don't kind of expect it there. You kind of expect it over here in big. So like, you know, like that. Yeah, I think that this is the right option, which means I can have here chatting to so-and-so, and then stop chatting is there. Then I've got a description. What do I put? What do I put in the description here? I could put anything there actually. I could put the patience there. Patience works well underneath them though, because you can see how their patience kind of goes down. Yeah, I could try that. I could brainstorm that and see how that goes. That's not too bad to build. I can build that quite quickly. Which means that actually a chat panel is a lot bigger than we envisioned. So it's rather like the old enterable panel was. So that means we need to pop both of those before we do a chat. So popping the enterable header and the contents, we're also going to need to pop the header when we pop the contents here. That's fine. So, and then when I do a chat, I'm going to need to steal the stuff from the header, which is easy enough to do. Layout header. That one. Yep, I've done that already, I've got that already. I need the full screen background because I won't have that. And I don't know if I need, oh, I've got that anyway. I need that. And that, I need all of that basically. So when I lay out the chat, I've got the chat panel. I need to push the background. The nameable I've already got actually, I've just grabbed that. So that's just target ID. And then I create the nameable full, that's easy enough to do. Then I don't need the operation stuff. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in the description yet, but I'm going to put those strings in there. Now the button depends on what strings I've got. I'm pretty sure I've got a stop. Goodbye. Say, got to say goodbye. Haven't got any stop chatting. I can do say goodbye. Start with that. No, I need a GUI stop chat. No, maybe too big. But we can try it. Okay, and then once I've got that, I've got the button, that's good. Stop chat string. Stop chat. That I can get rid of, and that. I'm going to have an empty left panel. No, I'm not having an empty left panel. I don't need that anymore, and I don't need any of that. Okay. I don't need any of that. Okay. This is looking a little bit better. Just build that. Okay, that built. So now, hold on to your hats, we're going to attempt to run the game again. For some reason, my computer is really objecting to running the game. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was backing up before and that's what was causing the CPU fail. Because it seems to be fine now, which is kind of frustrating. But there we go. Cool, so let's go back to here. Let's go over to chat now. Oh, find someone to talk to. They want to talk to me, right? This girl. Right, Takako Broomfield. Stop chatting. Well, that's fine. Her name's too big, but I'm going to fix that global anyway. I'm not sure what to put in here. The stop chatting button at the moment is just going to message to show player current city. So I need to fix that to go to a particular place. That needs to be, what do I currently do? Does it need to be a callback? It's going to need to be a callback. I think I've got a stop chatting message. Yes, I have here. Okay, so I'm going to need to just call that. And that just closes the thing. But that's going to also need to put whatever we had back before. But we don't need to redraw it, so actually I can just say, that doesn't need to be a GUI callback. Okay, fine. So we can just say message, and that can just be message. And then what we can do is say, when we do message stop chatting to character, I'll do that in a minute. So if I can just get rid of this, and I can simply say pop pop panel, if I can mind to type it, chat. Then I need a push panel, enterable header, and contents. I could probably recombine those actually, I may well do that. Okay, so let's see what that does. So that means that, oh yeah, and then the heading bar button is wrong. So this particular heading is viewing city. So this is message type, message show, player current city, that's the first one. The second one is message type, message stop chatting to character. And that should now compile, hopefully. Hopefully. Yay, it compiled. So that means that when I click on this, view city, that should still work. And I click on that, stop chatting, yay! Brilliant. So actually, I can now go, should be able to. Oh, it's a bit quick then. Oh, interesting. That's not quite right. What's happening there? Right, it needs to relay out. So when I push that panel, stop chatting, so what's happening here, stop chatting, I also need to do the process mouse move thing. What that basically means is what I wanted to do is to redo the hover because we've relayed out the GUI. Now that's probably not the right way of doing it, but that's how I'm doing it at the moment. Okay, right, so when I chat, fail. There was no callback. I think I just killed the game. That should have worked. Didn't like it though. Never mind. Let's reload the game. It's not the end of the world to have to reload the game from time to time. Okay. Live code editing is awesome, but doesn't always work as you expect. Okay, let's find someone we can talk to. Okay, so I should be able to go, yes, perfect. I click on her, stop chatting, view city, works straight away. Perfect. Cool, happy with that. I want to be able to zoom through characters as needed so that I don't have to screw around. It just makes the GUI feel nicer. Okay, not bad. Right, let's lay this sucker out. So I want a big, where's my wireframe? Yes, I want this one. I don't want that one. That one sucks. So I've done this bit. Now I need a face. Faces are reasonably easy. If I go to the GUI code, well, I say they're easy. They're quite hard to build, but now it's built, it's easy. Right, so push face, do I want a box as well? Push face in box. Yeah, that will not create the right size face. I don't just want any old face. Or I could just have a small face. Kind of feels like it should be as big as this face. But I don't have the pieces for that face easily. Yeah, I need to talk to my artist about that. But firstly, what I could do is just call push face, which is as simple as push face. Pass the panel, pass the state, pass the person, which I don't think I've got yet. Pass the dimensions. So I want a centered dim. Let's make these guys a 256, or rather. I want the pos, that's going to be my pos, and that's my size. So let's make it 256 by 256. And then anchor will be top left. Hotspot dim will be the same one, so I want to say R2 face dim equals R2 center dim T over there, that one, face dim, hover size and active size. Yeah, I need to think about this. Push face in box is 110. I could just steal those numbers for now. I'm not sure how I want that to feel yet. We can start with that. Let's just pop it in a place for now and see what that looks like. Yes, I haven't got the target yet, so I need to grab it. And actually, this is a chat panel, isn't it? So we are fine with just saying find the thing. The other call was an optional call, and this one is a forced call, which asserts if it fails, and it should definitely assert if I'm trying to show a chat window for someone that isn't a person. That would be wrong. It just feels wrong. Right, there I am. Woohoo, look at me. Crikey. That's not what I expected, but it's quite big, but it's fine. I quite like that look. I quite like him sitting on top like that. Not obviously that high up. If I was to put him down a bit, so if I was to take 50 off that one and add 100 to that one, let's just rebuild that. Ooh, we might be onto something here. Potentially without very much background. Just move him down a touch, maybe 10 pixels. That's kind of cool. Is that rebuilt? Not quite. Yeah, no, that is cool. So what I could do is I could put something here, maybe. Maybe I should just like have a screen there and have his responses up here. Ooh, he's quite big. Yeah, that's probably a bit too big. Okay, well, we can think this through. So let's just push some text on to start with. Let's get some really big text. So, for example, 60. Right, all I'm doing here is just stuffing some text on to try and see how this feels. So we've got 256, 150, thinking. That's going to need to be more like, that's fine. Oh no, that's going to need to be more like 330, and that's still going to be 1100. This one is going to be more like 310. Yeah, let's try that. It didn't work because I used something that I don't have, which is the graphics. So let's just pass that in. This will be too big and brash, but at least it'll be there. Yeah, obviously that's in the wrong place. So now that needs to go down a bit. 340 and 60 is obviously too wide. Let's just try the slightly smaller one that I use, which is 32. Might still be a bit small actually, but we can try that. Okay, yeah, that needs to go down a bit more, probably by another 50. And the text actually is too small. Too small. I think that needs to go down even more. Most of what I do here is by eye. I'm just kind of screwing with it basically, till it looks right. But by far the easiest way to work. Okay, now that's not bad. But it shouldn't be bold. Maybe not. Let's try it without being bold. No bold. Yep, that is looking good. That is looking good. Let's try it full screen. Wow, that is nice. It's nice and obvious. I like it. We're definitely onto something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually wait for a background because I'm not sure. I'm going to get some artist input on some of this stuff. But I think that that's definitely getting there for where I want to go, which is great. So what I think I might do is put the actual code behind chatting in now. So if let's think about this. If I put, yeah, all of the code for behind chatting is in the chat controller, which is here. So we have this update chat call. Let's have a look at this. So when we chat to character, okay, we set the target and start the conversation. Okay, so this is important because this is where the conversation happens. Right, and then we set a bunch of tags on the conversation. This is all internals to the chat system. I've written blog posts about how this works, so you're welcome to look them up. So what we kind of need to do is copy most of this stuff to start with. So where is the layout chat gone? I'm dumping all this in the same file at the moment. That's absolutely deliberate. Let's keep that on because I don't know what is going to happen, quite frankly. So let's get rid of that. That's the right thing to do, but we don't want to do that yet. So the conversation, we don't want to store the conversation particularly in the GUI. That's actually part of the state, I think. So let's do current player. I think that, oh, look, it's right there. Player conversation. So what are we using this for? Conversations result. Start conversation. Ah, interesting. So it's taking it from there anyway. So actually, we don't need to save it. We can just use that one. Fine. State, viewer, and target. I think we've got all of those by now. Not sure we've got the viewer. Oh, and that's just the viewer ID. That's the target ID. Brilliant. Right, we set the initial tags. So we find the enterer and see if the place in which the person we are talking to is in sells ships. If it does, then we can say has ships for hire. Now, ship line needs to tell whether the target has a ship for us. Yes, that's fine. We're just not doing that yet. Borrower. So again, this is just viewer ID. If we are able to borrow money, then we can add that to the conversation too. Brilliant. So that's fine. So we've got that bit in. Then we have this update chat thing, which is a massive 200, 300 line method. So what do? We check the target, but we don't need to bother with that. We check, again, the historical figure and the enterer. We've got all of that. But when is this method called? This method is called when we chat to someone. It's also called when we say something. Okay, in the conversation. I may just relay out the entire thing when I say something. I think I'm just going to do that. The previous way that the GUI worked, it was all done using LibRocket, and LibRocket's pretty slow. So what I was doing is I was compensating by making rather complicated GUI code to work around the fact that it was really slow to lay out a pane. Now I've written my own GUI code, it's really fast to lay out a pane, which means I don't need to worry about it. So I don't care. I'm just going to lay out the whole thing again, which means that this start conversation shouldn't be in here, because this is just laying out conversations. This should have happened already. That's quite important. So let's just make sure that it has happened already. So where are we pushing the chat panel? We're doing it in chat to character. So actually, this is where we need to do it. We need to say, oops, okay. We need to say we want to start a new conversation. We want the person who is talking to be the player entity ID. Only one player currently, and that's the message character entity ID. Right, so the layout chat is just going to show everything. Fine. There's the chat. Right, so now we've added all of that stuff. Now we're in update chat here. Right, let's have a look at this code. Right, so we've done all of this. We need the human AI. Yes, that's fair enough. We're definitely going to need that. And all I'm doing here really is copying code from my previous set of code that the GUI code that I was running before into the new code and reworking it as I go. Fixing bugs as I find them. So we've got the nameable. I don't know if we've got the nameable yet. Target name. Yes, we have. In fact, I'm going to rename that so it's really clear which one we're dealing with. And that's a different one. Okay, so now got the target AI. We'll probably need that. We want the full name. Chatting with. We've already done that. That's fine. We've done this. Display face GUI. Done that too. Loan. Right. So this is now getting a loan set up if we need one. So we do need to do this. I'm not sure actually we need the target AI yet. Well, let's just see if we actually need it. Right. Let's see if we need a loan. Target enterer. Yeah, we've got that. We set up the loans. Whether we've got good or bad loans, that's a gameplay thing. As to whether we can see those yet. Right, and then the AI chooses what to say. So, now this is a problem because this is not laying out a GUI. This is the next thing to say. That's okay. We can make this. We can make this work. Okay, so the next statement. These are all without. Oops. Is choose what to say next. State. The state AI response statements. The state AI response statement count. The conversation we're dealing with, and the target ID. That'll be probably, possibly. No, it's not the target. It's the target itself. Okay. Then we need to make sure we've got one of those, that they manage to say something, which they will do. We've already got the viewer. And then we just want to say in that conversation, not sure what this code does, so let's find out. This will be the target and the viewer. The viewer is that, yep. So what does saying conversation actually do? Okay, this is gameplay code. So this says all of the stuff and actually does something important there. Okay, so once we've done that, we set the tone to whatever the current conversation tone is, which is just that. Cool, that's GUI layout code, we can ignore that. This is, let's see. This is about finding a random event from the particular target. Actually going to make that target events. This is a key gameplay code here. We're picking a particular event that they might want to do something. Right, now what we've got is a bunch of code that does things, does gameplay stuff based on whether or not certain tags have been chosen or added to the conversation. Now this code definitely does not belong in the GUI code. Don't know why it was in the GUI code in the first place, but it was. So all of this stuff down to here, in fact, all of this stuff even is all that kind of stuff. So this is all process conversation based on tags basically. Now the question is, does it have any GUI code in it? Hope not. I'm going to move all of this to wherever conversations are defined. Right, this stuff here can all go. I don't want to delete it. Well, I'll just dump it in line for now. It does need to go into something else, but I'm going to make a big note about that. move this out to conversation code. Don't really want to do that now. Okay, so we're now down here. So we've got all of that, done all of that, done all of that. Right, now we're dealing with the actual conversation statement. So we've got a tone hash. And then we add on, interestingly, we don't want to necessarily do that. What I actually want to do is say buffer plus equals to whatever that returned. That was a conversation statement anyway. Does this return anything? It does return something. What does it return? It returns how many it did. Fine. So I want to return that from my conversation statement. Which means that if I can do that, not too far. Right, so that means we just add on that bit and then display conversation statement next statement. So we can do that next. The chat code is pretty complex and I am just blitzing through it super fast just by copying it over. And I'm kind of happy about that. Length, I'm just going to say UE length equals array count buffer, and then array count buffer is length. I pass the length. This is just my string limiting stuff, and then I can say buffer. That's fine. Buffer. No, length. Doing that. Then I can say something like, I need to think about this. This needs to be buffer plus length. Yeah, but this isn't right. This can say 32 used equals 0. Used plus equals, or used equals buffer, or I can say used plus equals, and then I can say buffer plus used, length minus used. That's what I need to do. Okay, well, so when we add that one on, that will work. And then if there's an effect hash based on that, all of that magic stuff that we did up there, we can just simply do the same thing here. We can say buffer plus used length minus used. And this can say used plus equals. Again here, same thing. Okay, that's all of that. And then we've got our conversation statement in the buffer, which means that all the way up here, where I commented out that push text, where was that? Here. All the way up there, I can now push that text. Instead of pushing hi there, Chris, I should be able to just push buffer. Great. Fantastic. So once we've done that, that's what we've done that. Now the patience stuff I do need to do, so I'm not going to do that yet. So to do patience icons, then I've got what's all this? Tones, tone. Right. Show tone selection options. That's fine. I can probably link that directly into the code I need, so that's good. Tone selection options. And then I've got conversation options. That's fine. Oh, isn't that what that is? No, that's all tone options. That would be much easier to write. And this is all the conversation options. and then goodbye. I've already got stop chatting, don't need that. Brilliant. And then I've just got to do the events, which will be based on the particular options that we choose. Fantastic, this is going well. Okay, now I'm going to build this. It's all going to fail horribly because there's a load of typos in it. That will be because we're not using a class anymore, therefore it's just a bare method. Therefore, this is going to complicate things a bit. Loads of errors, that's what I was expecting. Right, find enterer. We need the target ID for that. Let's go on to the next error. Conversation. I thought I'd added a conversation here. Oh, maybe not yet. I moved the conversation out, didn't I? So really, layout chat isn't quite right. Do I have those people inside conversation? I'm sure I do. What I actually need to pass here is the conversation. Like so. If I do that, this will break, but player conversation. Now I could get that from the state, but I like passing these things in case I want to show something else in the future. Very simple dependency injection principle. Right, so the viewer is always no, actually that's not true. The viewer might be someone else. So I do actually want to have state player entity ID. I do always want to keep the viewer separate. I don't necessarily want the viewer to be the same person. Right, target ID. Does this come from the conversation? Conversation literally just has the first and second ID. It's not brilliant. It's not clear who the speaker and who the listener is. Speaker and listener. First is speaker, second is listener. Why are we using first ID and second ID? That seems completely crazy. I just don't understand why. Why are we even doing that? In fact, we're only using it in one place. I'm going to change these. Speaker ID, speaker ID, speaker ID, listener ID. It's not really speaker and listener, that's actually the wrong way of putting it. It's actually more like instigator, responder. That's more accurate. Cool. So let's change these to instigator and responder ID. Then I'm always clear as to who's speaking. This is now instigator, and this is responder. Right. Let's go with this. See what happens. Use of responder ID. Yes, that's because I've now got an instigator ID and a responder ID. Done. This one is instigator. Yes, perfect. Okay, what have we got now? Okay, so I just wanted to identify target ID. Yes, this is the problem we had. So the target is actually the responder. So I should be able to say U-Entity target ID equals conversation responder ID. So much easier when you name things correctly. Second ID, terrible name. Should have fixed that ages ago. Okay, US identify viewer. That's because we don't have a viewer yet. Viewer, let's just make this a bit bigger. Do we ever grab the historical viewer? Maybe we don't. Where's the historical figure? Let's just grab the... Is it Naham? Hang on. we're mixing up the idea of viewer, which is this one. Is that really the viewer? That's not the viewer, that's the target. This is the instigator, not the viewer. And I'm going to get away from this idea of responder, of instigator. I don't like this target ID thing. I'm going to ditch it. And I'm going to say conversation. This is all going to have to be conversation responder ID. Now this is going to be annoying, but in order for it to be target name, we've got anywhere else? No. I'm going to have to change this everywhere. But it's worth it, because if I change this, that's actually only a few places. Yeah. Now I've changed it, that's just much, much better. So now let's go back to here. I'm going to get loads of name conflicts now. Oh, maybe not. Oh, use identify target. Yes, so this is now a responder. Yeah, no, not that. Yes, that's fine. So that error caused a few errors, so I'm just going to recompile. This is the responder. Right, so the target needs to be renamed to responder. And actually, I really want to change to the next T and then do responder, so that I can do that as well. And these are all wrong, so I'm going to have to fix those in a minute. So the responder, that is actually the conversation responder ID. Okay, good stuff. Happy that we're doing better than we were earlier when we... I think the main issue that we had before was that the my computer was backing up, very frustrating, and I didn't notice. I should have a checklist where I turn off stuff before the backup. Right, can't find eventful, that's right, because we need a conversation responder ID here. Okay, in order to make this a bit quicker, I'm going to actually close the game down. Right, this is now just conversation. This is now state. This one, or viewer, I'm going to change everywhere to conversation instigator ID. Viewer, there's a lot of these. Viewer. Same again, these are still in there. Yeah, that's it, perfect. Right, just going through renaming stuff, find any states that we can, because they're all going to be wrong. All this code's moving out anyway, but okay, use to identify a target. This is a conversation responder ID. Any other targets out there? Yeah, that one there. Brilliant. Okay, using the identify target R. Ah, yes, target R is responder R. Using conversation responder ID. Target, any more targets? Viewer entity ID. Right. So viewer, we now should get rid of the viewer completely. If we have an underscore viewer, which we don't, yes, that's the instigator, but we don't have a viewer anywhere. So viewer, we need to do change fr instigator. That one, yep, 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 yep. No. Okay, again there. Instigator ID, this is conversation, instigator ID. Identify target, conversation, responder ID. It should be responder rails, just to be really explicit. This stuff is complex. I don't want to make it any more complicated to understand. Okay. Let's see. Target, I've still got another target in here. This is going to be responder. Conversation. Wow. Okay. Now, this magic show ships for hire stuff. Oh crap, yeah. This is the thing that this shows a whole section of stuff which I'm going to need to redo. And I think it's probably true. We might have a few of those. That's fine, I can do that later. No hurry for that. Okay, we've got lender entity ID, lend money to. Where is that code? Ooh, that's in the chat controller. What the heck is that doing in the chat controller? That's bizarre. That should be in the borrower code, surely. It's going in there now. Okay, it's relevant to our state. Did I mean rotate? No, sadly I didn't. It's a good idea. Okay, ooh. Oh, yes. New state. That means lend money to will fail. That's not right. Find purchaser. Interesting. Lend money to. Borrowing is clearly before purchasing. But is there a similar requirement on purchaser? No. So I can just swap those around. Where's purchaser? There we go. Okay, no good matching method called lend to. That's because I need to also pass the state. So I can find some of this stuff. Oh, lots of errors. Conversation instigator ID. Yes, I did. Almost there. Target responder. Display conversation statement. What's wrong with that? No, UN32. Which one of those is in UN32? For a third argument, conversation statement hash. Oh, okay. These just need to be conversation responder ID and conversation instigator ID. Easy. Okay. Same again. Name actually function called to layout chat. What have I done to it? I've forgotten. I need a conversation to be passed to it. That's fine. Name actually function called to layout chat. That's correct. That's because I've changed it. Brilliant. Okay. That was a big job, but let's see if that's actually worked. Nice if it had. Let's stick the game up here. Okay. If you're just joined the stream, this is a brand new GUI. Hope you like it. Working hard on it. Okay, so let's see. Let's check to Coco. Right, so we've obviously got a problem here. While cursor string, blah, 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 blah. Now what's the problem here? It's probably... interesting. Push text. What text are we pushing? Strings 1. What is strings 1? Ooh, is this just because we haven't got the right number of strings? Oh yes, that would be why. Yeah, we can't do that. Can't just pass one string when you need two. Still don't know what sure to pass there yet. I'll just pass blank for now. Okay, try that again. I'm aware that I'm way over my time. I've deliberately gone over today because I had such a weird 20 minutes in the middle. Right, let's find someone to talk to. Hello, Kenny, what can I do for you? Woohoo! Victory dance. That means that we've actually got a starting point, which is brilliant. Now, there are some issues here. Clearly, I can't see that properly. But, you know, I'm really happy with that. I might just set it so that we can see the person's face, push person's face. Do we get the face back? Do we get what to do in that? Show character? No, we have to push an icon behind it to show the character. Yeah, that's kind of fine. And that goes back to that. Yeah, that's cool. I really like that. Very happy with how that's turned out. Obviously, pressing the character's face isn't really, kind of slightly weird, but anyway, that's fine. It's good that that's come up. That means that, you know, it's the starting point of the conversation stuff. That means it's gone in and it's working. She's actually used my name, so that's all working. Now the thing I have to do is some of those to-dos, which is patience icons, tone selection, and conversation. Now that's reasonably easy to do compared to the other stuff. So let's just try and get that in. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to work out where to put this stuff because I've got my wireframe here. I've got their response. That's on the screen. That's good. Happy with that. Got their response there. Now, patience points, tone options, that kind of thing. Tone options, we said we're going to go here. They are basically going to be like these, so that's going to be easy. The chat options can go underneath, and I haven't quite figured out how to do them yet. I might just put them, I could put them in some of those. I think I need a new UI for this. It needs to be entirely different, so that's fine. Patience icons I'm just going to leave for the moment. Actually, they're quite, well, are they easy to do? They're quite easy to do. I'm thinking. Oh, that was a mistake. What I actually want to do is this. Let's do the tone selection, and then I think I need to stop. So the UN32 tone is where we set the tone on the conversation. Now this should be reasonably straightforward. So the tone we're getting from the conversation tone there. Now if we click on a conversation tone, the tone hash is basically the conversation tone. So we must also set it somewhere too. Where do we set it? It'll be in the events stuff. Somewhere deep within this code. Process event. It'll be somewhere like conversation tone here. Talk tones, which tone are we using? Get pointer attribute tone. Saying conversation, no, that's the goodbye. No, none of this is right. Where do we get the tone from? Oh, we just get the choice from the chooser. It's an old GUI construct called a chooser. So actually, I don't know if I care. It's quite easy to manage. So the tone hash is just that. So actually, yeah, we take the tone hash away. So what we can do here is you just say sol hash. No, I don't really want to do that. I actually don't need to do any of this. I just need to set the tone conversation tone. Like that. Now, if I key it directly off the variable, I can then do this. I can take a select button like these three, and I can push here the tone selections. Now, the tones that we're using are as follows, and I need to think about how this works. Talk tones. So I need to find the old RML that we were using for librocket. Talk tones. Choose tone. Tone neutral. The tones are not as simple as that, are they? No. I think I'm just going to build this. Make sure it still builds. Make sure it's still working. And I'm just going to, oh god, yeah, got an issue there. I think I'm going to stop there and check in, because it is working. I'm happy that it's working. Up to the right screen. Brilliant. It's working. I'm happy with that. We just need to now get that tone stuff working. But I'd like to check in at this point. So let's get that stop chatting running. The lend money 2, there's a spare enter there, I can't stand extra white space. Okay, then this was the instigator change. Yeah. Yeah, splitting this thing up into 2. Not sure that was, I'm not convinced that was worth doing. So I think I'm going to back out of that change. So that's easy enough to do. I just need to get rid of that, go to that, and then I want to, in here I need enterable header. There's no point making the code more complicated than it needs to be. I can always make the change again. It wasn't a complicated change at all, but splitting these two things up just seems like a waste of time at this point. Layout, I'm going to change that to layout enterable. I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to get rid of that and that because that's no longer necessary. And I'm going to layout enterable, I'm going to get rid of that. I think that's probably it. Yeah, let's just see, make sure that worked. We should still be able to go in, chat to someone. Yeah, that worked fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. I didn't really want to make that change. Don't need that. Okay, so this is to do with the heading bar. Yeah, and then we've got this huge change here, which is basically copying and pasting all of the code in for the relationships. That's fine. Don't need that, that's just white space. Don't want that, that's just turning off the music. Start conversation. Yes, that's correct. Yes, ooh, what's that change? Where is that change? I'm happy with that, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. Yes, that's also fine. Yeah, that's the heading bar change. That's the chat message change. Yes, I need that. Yeah, needed to move that. Okay, fine. Change I didn't check in were just some commenting stuff. Okay, so basics of chat, of initial chat window back in. Brilliant. That was not bad. In the end, that turned out to be a pretty decent stream. Pretty happy with how that worked. Thanks very much for watching. The stream is ending now. Unless anyone has any questions for me, anything they want to ask, I'm very happy to answer questions. But if not, do please follow me on Twitch if you'd like to hear more about this game and that kind of thing. I'll be very happy to talk more about that. Yeah, hear more about it. You'll hear more about it if you actually sign up for the stream. Other thing is that we're running a Kickstarter in September, so I'm going to be raising some money to market the game correctly. That's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, if you want to join in with that, then please follow me on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever you want to do. Go to the website, soultrader.net, and you'll find out all about how you can keep in touch with the game, including joining our mailing list to get up-to-date information. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream, and I will see you.